What if the greatest threat to America's national security wasn't a missile or a cyber attack, but a property deed? For the soldiers, pilots, and intelligence officers who defend our nation, the ground beneath their feet is sacred. But what if that very ground, right outside the gates of our most critical military bases, was being sold off to our adversaries? This is not a hypothetical question. It's a financial and national security nightmare happening right now in plain sight. You are about to join a reconnaissance mission across the United States, deep into the heart of a new invisible battlefield. We are traveling to 10 U.S. military towns where a silent takeover is underway. We will expose the data on massive land purchases by foreign-controlled entities, the strategic risks that have top generals sounding the alarm, and the legal loopholes that are making it all possible. We are traveling from the drone nerve centers of the northern plains to the special operations training grounds of the south. And the danger gets more severe with every stop. Stay with me on this journey, because the town we reveal at number 1 isn't just a local issue. It is a red flag warning for the entire nation's defense. And I am also going to reveal a shocking legal failure in the middle of our list that allows this to happen. A loophole that most Americans have no idea exists. This is the story you need to see. Our mission begins now. Number 10, Valdosta, Georgia, home of Moody Air Force Base. Our journey begins in the humid pines of southern Georgia. Moody isn't just any air base. It's a critical hub for Air Force rescue and attack squadrons. The A-10 Warthog pilots who train here are the ones who fly low and slow to protect troops on the ground. It is a place of heroes. But just 15 miles from the base, a disturbing pattern has emerged. According to reports from the Department of Agriculture, over 31,000 acres of Georgian farmland have been purchased by foreign entities in the last several years, and a significant cluster of that land is here, in Lowndes County, under the flight paths of Moody's most sensitive training routes. The buyers are often opaque investment firms with ties to foreign capital. They say it's a simple agricultural investment, but former Air Force intelligence officers have warned Congress that large-scale foreign ownership this close to a base is a major counterintelligence risk. It allows for the potential placement of listening posts, surveillance equipment, or even operations designed to disrupt training exercises. For military families living in Valdosta, this creates a chilling uncertainty. The value of their homes has always been tied to the stability and security of the base. Now that security is being questioned, not by a foreign army, but by a foreign landlord. It's a tough start to our journey, and a clear sign that the definition of national security is changing. Number 9, Sierra Vista, Arizona, the backyard of Fort Huachuca. We now head west into the arid borderlands of Arizona. Sierra Vista sits in the shadow of Fort Huachuca, one of America's most important and secretive military installations. This is the headquarters of the Army's Network Enterprise Technology Command, and a primary center for military intelligence and drone operator training. The secrets held inside this fort are vital to global U.S. operations. The threat here is not about acreage, but about elevation and location. In 2022, a Hong Kong-based company purchased a 134-acre ranch that shares a border with the fort. But this wasn't just any plot of land. It sits on a ridge overlooking the base's electronic proving grounds. This is where the Army tests its most advanced communications, surveillance, and electronic warfare equipment. According to a letter from 24 members of Congress to the Secretary of Defense, placing a foreign-owned entity in this specific location is a catastrophic intelligence risk. It provides a perfect, clear line of sight for signals intelligence, or SIGINT operations, passively listening in on the military's most encrypted secrets. The market in Sierra Vista is now caught in a paradox. The base is expanding its cyber warfare missions, which should increase home values. But the news of this strategic purchase has cast a pall over the area. How can you value a home when the entire economic engine of your town is under surveillance? Fort Huachuca shows that in this new war, the most valuable real estate is the parcel with the best view of a secret. Number 8, Katahdin, Maine, guarding the northeastern corridor. Our mission now takes us to the dense, remote forests of northern Maine. This isn't a single town, but a vast, sparsely populated region that is home to critical Air National Guard and Air Force training facilities, including a 100-mile low-level flight training route used by fighter jets. It is America's strategic buffer in the Northeast. But this buffer is being bought. Recent data reveals that Chinese-backed entities now own nearly 200,000 acres in this part of Maine. One company alone, through various subsidiaries, has become one of the largest private landowners in the state. Their stated purpose is timber harvesting, but the sheer scale and location of these holdings are raising red flags. This land surrounds key transportation corridors and sits beneath the airspace used for air-to-air combat training. Military strategists have noted that this level of land control could be used to contest air rights, install radar jamming technology, or simply monitor the movement of U.S. air power. This is a slow-motion takeover. The local housing market, reliant on forestry and military support staff, is now facing an unnerving future. The land that once represented rugged American independence is now listed on a balance sheet in another country. And we are still only at number 8. Number 7, Del Rio, Texas, home of Laughlin Air Force Base. We drive south to the sun-scorched earth of the Texas-Mexico border. Laughlin Air Force Base is the largest pilot training base in the entire Air Force. Almost every pilot who flies our most advanced fighters, the F-22s, the F-35s, gets their start right here. To say it's vital is an understatement. In 2021, the state of Texas was forced to pass a law to stop a single, massive land deal. A Chinese billionaire with ties to the CCP purchased 140,000 acres of ranch land right next to the base. His plan was to build a massive wind farm. But the turbines he planned to install were hundreds of feet tall. Air Force officials warned this would be a catastrophic obstruction, directly interfering with the flight paths of student pilots. Even worse, the project would give a foreign adversary direct access to the Texas power grid and a physical surveillance platform next to our most important pilot training facility. The deal was ultimately blocked by state law, but the chilling attempt sent shockwaves through the Del Rio real estate market. It exposed a terrifying vulnerability. What happens when a town's entire economy depends on a base, and that base can be threatened, not with an attack, but with a simple real estate transaction? Laughlin was a near miss, a warning shot that the battle was just beginning. Now, as we cross the halfway point of our journey, it's time to answer the question you should be asking. How is this legal? The answer lies with the powerful but flawed government body called CFIUS, the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States. CFIUS has the power to review and block foreign business transactions that threaten national security. But here is the catastrophic loophole. For decades, CFIUS had almost no jurisdiction over simple real estate deals. Unless the land was part of a U.S. business being sold, or it was literally inside a port or airport, CFIUS was blind. Foreign entities could buy thousands of acres of strategic land right next to a military base, and as long as it was just a land deal, no one in the federal government was required to review it. New laws in the last few years have tried to patch this hole, giving CFIUS more oversight. But the gaps are still massive. The reviews only trigger for properties within a certain, very limited proximity to specific bases. This loophole is the reason we are on this road trip. It created a gold rush for adversaries to buy up strategic parcels of America before the rules could change. They weren't breaking the law, they were exploiting it. And the next city on our list shows just how devastating that exploitation can be. Number 5. Fayetteville, North Carolina, home of Fort Bragg. We now arrive at the nerve center of the U.S. Army. Fort Bragg is the home of the 82nd Airborne and the U.S. Army Special Operations Command. It is the single largest military installation in the world by population. When America needs to project force anywhere on the planet, the orders often come from here. And surrounding this vital base, a quiet acquisition has been taking place. In 2013, the world's largest pork producer, Smithfield Foods, was purchased by a Chinese company. Overnight, its massive land holdings in North Carolina, 146,000 acres, came under foreign control. Much of this land consists of hog farms located in the counties surrounding Fort Bragg.
These are sprawling industrial facilities that require access to local water, power, and transportation infrastructure, the same infrastructure the base relies on. Experts have warned that this gives a foreign entity a stunning level of leverage. They could potentially disrupt supply chains, or worse, use the agricultural facilities as cover for intelligence gathering. The Department of Defense itself has listed foreign agricultural investments as a significant national security concern. For the tens of thousands of soldiers and their families in Fayetteville, the security of their home base is now linked to the global pork market. It is a surreal and dangerous new reality. Number 4, Honolulu, Hawaii, home of Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam. We now fly to the center of America's Pacific power. Pearl Harbor is more than just a historical site, it is the headquarters of the U.S. Pacific Fleet.
It is the strategic command post for all naval operations in a region where tensions with China are rising. The state of Hawaii is now facing a full-blown crisis of foreign ownership. According to state data, foreign investors now control over 180,000 acres of Hawaiian land, and a huge portion of that is on the island of Oahu, where Pearl Harbor is located. Foreign-controlled firms have been buying up residential real estate, commercial buildings, and critical agricultural land at a shocking pace. This drives up housing costs so dramatically that local residents, including junior enlisted military members, can no longer afford to live there. This creates a force readiness crisis. How can you defend the Pacific if your sailors can't afford a home near the port? Even more sinister, it gives foreign powers a massive stake in the island's economy, infrastructure, and politics. This isn't just buying land, it's buying influence over America's most important strategic outpost. In Hawaii, the takeover is not happening outside the gate, it is consuming the entire island. Number 3, Quantico, Virginia, the crossroads of American intelligence. We head back to the mainland, just 35 miles south of Washington, D.C. Quantico is not just a Marine Corps base. It is home to the FBI Academy, the DEA training facility, and the Naval Criminal Investigative Service. It is where America's top law enforcement and military leaders are made. The threat here is quiet, academic, and deeply alarming. Over the past decade, universities and schools with deep financial ties to foreign governments have been buying up property and establishing campuses in the immediate vicinity of Quantico. A 2022 report from the U.S. government detailed how these institutions can act as hubs for intelligence operations and influence campaigns, targeting the thousands of cadets and officers who live and train in the area. It is a patient, sophisticated strategy to gain access to the next generation of American leadership. The real estate market in towns like Triangle and Dumfries is now a complex web of foreign-funded student housing and educational centers, intertwined with the homes of military families. This is a battle for hearts and minds, and the battlefield is the local housing market right outside the gates of the FBI Academy. The stakes are getting higher. Number 2, Grand Forks, North Dakota. The eye in the sky. Our second to last stop is on the vast, wind-swept plains of North Dakota. Grand Forks Air Force Base is at the absolute cutting edge of military technology. It is a primary center for America's unmanned aerial reconnaissance systems, the Global Hawk drones, that can surveil any point on Earth. It is also a hub for a new military space development agency. And just 12 miles away, the Fufeng Group, a Chinese agricultural company, purchased 370 acres of farmland. The plan was to build a corn mill, but the location was a 5-alarm fire for the Pentagon. The land sits directly in the flight path of the base and provides a perfect vantage point for monitoring the facility's sensitive drone and satellite communications. An Air Force memo to Congress was blunt, calling the project a significant threat to national security and a potential hub for electronic espionage. After a massive public and political battle that tore the town apart, the city of Grand Forks voted to block the project in 2023. But the damage was done. The fight exposed just how vulnerable these remote and vital bases are. It cratered commercial real estate values tied to the project and proved that a determined adversary could bring one of America's most advanced military bases to its knees with nothing more than a zoning permit and a checkbook. Number 1. The warning. Guam. The U.S. territory of Guam, America's Pacific fortress. We have arrived at our final stop, and it is the most dangerous of all. Guam isn't just a town with a base. It is the base. This island is America's unsinkable aircraft carrier, home to Andersen Air Force Base and Naval Base Guam. It is the critical power projection hub that would be on the front lines of any conflict in the Pacific. And it is being systematically bought up. Data from the territory's government shows a massive surge in real estate purchases by offshore corporations with ties to Chinese and Russian capital. They are buying hotels, condominium buildings with clear views of the naval base, and vast tracts of land adjacent to the Air Force Base's weapons storage facilities. This is a full-spectrum takeover strategy. Economically, it drives up prices and makes life impossible for the local Chamorro people and military personnel. Militarily, it places potential observation posts and intelligence hubs within miles or even yards of our most sensitive assets. Guam is the canary in the coal mine. It is showing the entire world what happens when the real estate market itself becomes a weapon. It is a place where property lines are now front lines. The market isn't just failing, it is deliberately being captured. The crisis is no longer theoretical, it is here. Our reconnaissance mission is over. From the farms of Georgia to the fortress of Guam, the pattern is undeniable. A quiet, systematic, and legal campaign is underway to purchase the land surrounding America's most vital military assets. This crisis is fundamentally changing the value and security of owning a home in these towns. It shows that real estate is no longer just about location and schools. It's about national security. You are now paying the price for decades of flawed laws and a naive belief that every piece of land is just a simple commodity. The system is broken. If this investigation opened your eyes, please hit the like button and share it with someone who needs to see this. Subscribe for more deep dives into the forces reshaping our world. And please comment below, is your town on this list, or do you suspect it should be? The battle for America's homeland has already begun. The only question is, are we willing to fight it?